Hello, welcome to the Kimberly McCarthy YouTube channel. I'm your hostess, Kimberly McCarthy. And for those of you new here who do not subscribe to my newsletter, and if you do subscribe to my newsletter, welcome. But a little bit about me. I am an etiquette and manners teacher. Don't run away. Wait. I started this channel because I am tired of seeing etiquette and manners taught from this ivory tower of perfection. I am tired of seeing it taught as a performance. I'm tired of seeing it taught as snobbery. So I decided that the best thing I could do was to come to you as I am, teaching formal subjects informally. So today, moving this camera, today the world is getting me with no makeup, outside on my back patio, in athleisure, talking to you about etiquette, manners, elegance, and refinement, because one of my main goals in this channel is to be able to speak with you about very formal topics in a really informal way. I want to talk with you as if we were best friends and you are sitting on my back patio with me and we are discussing these topics at length, whatever it is, informally. And if you were my friend in real life, you would see me without makeup at times. You would see me in athleisure. You would also see me at times in makeup and my hair perfectly blown out and a nice outfit. Like, you would see me in all of those categories. And I wanted to come to you as something real instead of something performed. So if any of that is resonating with you, welcome here. I guess to start out, a little bit about me is I grew up in St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada. So I am a small town East Coast girl at heart. I grew up there. I spent about the first 20 or so years of my life in St. John's, Newfoundland, and then I moved to downtown Toronto in my very early 20s. I slept on an acquaintance's sofa. I slept on the floor of my first apartment for about 18 months. I didn't even have a bed, and 20 plus years later, here we are. I'm no longer on the floor. I'm no longer on the sofa. And now I'm filming YouTube and I'm educated as an etiquette and refinement teacher. So life moves. What qualifies me as your etiquette and refinement teacher? Like, why should you listen to me when you have all these other people to listen to on the internet? Okay, first and foremost, I did not take my education lightly. I did not take that lightly for me, and I did not take that lightly for all of you. I wanted to be the best of the best. I've always been a high achiever. A lot of you who are going to resonate with me here, you're very successful entrepreneurial business women, or you're in like CEO, C-suite positions. So you're going to resonate with the whole high achiever. I went for the best. I went for the Cadillac of etiquette schools. I attended, it was a joint effort with the school. So it was Beaumont Etiquette and the English Manor. I'm on their alumni page, from 2023. I graduated with merit. The program is, I think it is still currently, it is the longest and most information detailed etiquette trainer program in the world. Okay. So I went top tier in my training and I graduated with merit from this place so that I could not only talk to you as somebody who loved etiquette and loved elegance and manners and refinement, but as somebody who is properly educated in it so that you could feel confident when applying the techniques that I'll be teaching you in this YouTube channel as we move it along. So I did that for me, and I did that for you. For as long as I can remember, I wanted to go to princess school. So it was the closest I went to princess school. There's this other etiquette school. I think it's in Sweden, but it's a boarding school, and I think you have to go for 6 weeks. And I have 3 little kids right now, so maybe once they're a little bit older, that might be something that I'll participate in. But right now, the program I have and the continuing education I'm giving myself, that's good. But I was the little girl in the small town, East Coast, with an overbite and buck teeth, and I was fat. It was the 80s. I had crimped hair and a surf style outfit. Where are my 40 plus women? Okay, did you have the surf style? You know what I'm talking about, the windbreaker? So I had that, and I grew up just in love with models and actresses. I wanted to be graceful. I wanted to speak elegantly. I'm tripping over my words right now, but give me time and this will flow better. I wanted, maybe some of this resonates with you, I wanted to be that woman. You know, I used to watch the movies. I think it's the She's All That, or even The Devil Wears Prada that came out later, you know, Andy Sachs, and then she gets her makeover. I don't want to spoil the movie for anybody. The Princess Diaries, oh my God, so good. Or Miss Congeniality, when, you know, the sort of ill-mannered, gruff woman, because I was rough, meets a mentor, you know, somebody who is more refined, and then all of a sudden he or she takes her under their wing and they give them a makeover and they teach them all of these rules and refinement and guidelines, and the next thing you know, she's popular. She's got the popular guy. Everybody wants to be her friend. You know, people are tripping over themselves trying to be near her. They want to be her. I wanted to be that. I wanted to be that woman. When she walked in a room, she owned the room. You know, instead, I was the woman when I walked into a room, I would slink into the room. You know, the very rooms that I wanted to take up the most space in, I would shrink from a lack of confidence, from a lack of social fluency. I would shrink, and I didn't know how to do small talk well. I didn't know how to be more interested in other people than in making other people interested in me. And I spent more time talking about myself and trying to get people interested in me instead of learning about others. The list goes on and on. So etiquette and manners school, becoming an etiquette trainer, on top of all of the Emily Post books I've read and all of the other research and development and self-work I have done on myself, being in the trenches, doing embarrassing things, living to tell the tale, learning stuff the hard way. All of that has made me the woman that I am today. And I want to come to you and be a guide. I don't want to be your coach. Okay, I want to be a messenger. I want to be more of a guide for you, so to speak. Somebody to walk the path with you. I don't want to teach these topics from a throne, from an ivory tower where it feels like I'm dictating down to you, because I can see how a lot of etiquette is taught that way. Instead, I want to teach it to you from the trenches. I want to walk the path with you, not as, again, somebody dictating and talking down to you, but as somebody who has experience that maybe you're lacking or you don't have. And I can be that cool auntie, that best friend, that maybe that mother figure that you didn't have, and I can provide that energy and that resource for you. So that's part of the reason why I have this channel and why I'm doing it. Like I said, today, no makeup on, in my athleisure, because I want to show you something real. I'm so tired of performance. I know you are too. I want to show you something real. I don't know if any of you know this, but fear is a terrible life coach. It's a terrible life coach. You don't want fear as your life coach, and a great deal of you, including myself, I had fear as my main life coach. Fear did not show up for me as like the tiger in the room gonna eat me. Fear showed up for me as logic and reasoning. Logic and reasoning. Sounds terrifying, doesn't it? But what my logic and reasoning say, so my logic and reasoning for why I couldn't do YouTube, why I couldn't do the things I wanted to do, why I couldn't become the person I wanted to be, what I realized was that everything that I made sound really logical and really reasonable, it was nothing more than excuses. Because I was afraid to pull the trigger and to do the things that I wanted to do, because I knew it was going to upset some people. I was going to lose other people, and it was going to push me into a very uncomfortable place where I would have to grow. And I subconsciously was avoiding all of that. That ends today, and you guys are here for that. So I can't thank you enough. Growing up, like I said, I grew up on the East Coast. Loved those movies. Loved anything about the Transformation movie. I still haven't seen the Devil Wears 2 Prada movie, so don't ruin it for me, okay? Don't ruin it. It came out a few weeks ago, but I do love that movie. I did my own transformation. I sent myself to, it's not princess school. I don't think the owners of the schools would like me to call it princess school, but I call it princess school because that's what I wanted it to be. So I did that. I'm using a lot of filler words. Forgive me. I am new at this. It is going to be a little messy to begin with. I will edit what I can. I will learn camera skills. I have to do it to get better. So I thank you in advance for being so gracious and kind with me while I'm learning. Let me tell you who I'm not for, and maybe we can wrap this whole video up. Okay. I am not for women who want to live in victimhood. Okay, I have just as many, if not more, reasons than a lot of you for why I shouldn't be here, for why I can't X, Y, Z do the things that I want to do. My mom was my first bully. My mom used to come up with all of the reasons why the hopes and dreams that I shared with her, why they couldn't come true. And that made me doubt myself. It didn't make me doubt my hopes and dreams. It made me doubt me as a person. And I truly thought I didn't have what it takes. When I first moved to Toronto and I wanted to be an actress, I actually signed on to an acting studio, and I had an acting teacher, and I was going to classes, and I had a notebook, and I was going to classes. I was going to acting class, and I felt very, I'm going to acting class. I did. It was my early 20s, okay? Cut me some slack. And I remember that my acting coach actually said to me, and he had previously taught some very famous Canadian actors now, and he had said to me that I actually had some good skills that I needed to work on, but I had like good bones, like good structure for acting, and that he could really see me having a career in acting. And I think within 2 weeks of him saying that to me, I completely self-sabotaged and I quit the whole program. So who knows what I could have been. Maybe I wouldn't be on YouTube here with you right now, but yeah, I quit the whole program. I self-sabotaged the whole program. And I did that with several things. throughout my early adulthood life. I self-sabotaged because I carried that belief system that all the things that I wanted were for other people and that I didn't have what it takes into everything that I did. Does that mean that my mother was this horrible monster? No. As a grown woman myself and as a mother, she had her own trauma that she refused to deal with. To this day, she refuses to deal with. And it was never mine to carry. They were never my wounds to have. And since then, and I won't get into that here because it would make this video way too long, I have put down the burdens that were never mine to carry. Okay, and I have stopped paying for crimes that I didn't commit. And I let it go. Okay, I let it go. I put it down. So if you're a woman who wants to sit in your victimhood and compete with the other women in the comments and with me about who's the bigger victim, who had the worst childhood, whose mother was the worst person, who has the bigger reasons and the bigger excuses, and who sacrificed the most, and whose cross is heavier to bear. Like, if you are that woman, let me tell you right now, you're not going to like it here. I used to be that woman. I lived as a victim. I lived in victimhood. I lived in martyrdom and self-sacrifice, and it made me miserable. It made me miserable, and it made everybody else around me miserable too. So if you are that woman who wants to cling to her victimhood like her favorite stuffy, that's your security, and you still want that to be your whole identity, peace and love, my darling. Peace and love, okay? But I will not be for you. You won't like it here. If you are the kind of woman who does not want to take accountability for yourself and for your life, you won't like it here. If you're the kind of woman who does not want to take responsibility for the things that has happened to her, it doesn't mean that you are responsible for any abuse or neglect or bad behavior done to you. But if you do not want to take responsibility of cleaning up the mess that was made and fixing the wounds that were made by those horrible things that happened to you, you're not going to like it here. We're not going to get along. If you're the kind of woman who expects me to do this rigmarole of here's what I am saying, here's what I'm not saying, and you want me to extend this podcast by 5, 8, 30 minutes every single time I sit down to talk because I have to talk about X, Y, and Z and what I am saying and what I'm not saying and the whataboutisms and the what about, I'm not for you. If you're the kind of woman who every time I bring up issues in female modern day culture or issues with women, and you hit my comment section with, but what about the men? What about the men? What about the men, Kimberly? What about them, Jessica? What about them? Okay? I'm not obsessed with the men. I'm letting the men sort themselves out. Okay? We are not about the men here. We are about women, accountable, responsible, victor-focused, not victim-focused, victor-focused women who know that elegance, refinement, and emotional discipline are not to be feared. They are to be revered. They are the essence, okay, the foundations, the body of our female power. That is who I'm here for. That is who I'm not here for. You guys sort yourselves out. It's peace and love if you're not here. It's, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to have you here if you are here. If any of this has resonated with you, if you want to come on this journey with me, I promise I will get better at storytelling. I promise I will be working on developing brevity. video structure. I promise you I will work on all of those things. Leave your favorite pink emoji in the comment section so that I know this resonated with you. If you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed getting to know me a little bit better, I know I'm going to enjoy getting to know you. Hit the subscribe button. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, the link is in the description box, and I'm going to call that here, okay? And until our next refinement session, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you soon.